Good afternoon, happy stampers. This is Judy Anderson with judystamps.com, and I'd like to welcome everyone to my happy stamping studio. Whether you're watching live or on replay, please say hi to let me know you watched. If you watch on replay, just comment replay and answer any of the questions that I ask you throughout the class today. So, we are going to be using the Service Essentials bundle again. I love this, and I got this idea the other day to create some cards for some local police officers so that when I see them when I'm out and about, I'm going to be putting a little Ghirardelli chocolate in there for them and thank them for their service. You know, this stamp set is geared for our servicemen, but I believe that we can use these for our police officers, our firemen, anybody that it provides us with any public service. So we are going to be using the Service Essentials photopolymer stamp set again. And I have already cut out the dies, but I am loving these dies, you guys. So I had pre-cut those because I wasn't sure if I was going to have time today to do it all on screen. So here is the stamp set. And the stamp set is a set of 14 stamps that can be used for a multiple of different things, not just for service. Like I picture these as steps or as like a banner along the top of a card. Got some different ideas for those. We've got the heart, which can be used for anything. This plus sign, you could use this with your alphabet numbers and show it as, you know, maybe a school type project. So we're going to be using a couple of these. So I'm going to remove my cover here and get out the pieces that I need. So I am going to use the You Make a Difference, which is this stamp right here. So I'm going to go ahead and mount these all while I have my stamp set here. We are going to be using the star. I did one card a couple weeks ago. It was more geared towards patriotic. And you guys all love that one too. But I thought, you know what? I want to give them some other ideas to use this stamp set. No, you know what? I'm going to get a little bit bigger block for this one. So we're primarily using these three stamps for this. I'm also going to be using the puffy stars that coordinates with this. Here's all my pieces. I'm using Marina Mist. So I'm using the Marina Mist stamp pad and the Memento stamp pad. So like I said, I've already pre-cut my pieces. Let's get these all together. This is the inside of my card. This is for my sentiment. So I just got back from our on stage, you guys, in Long Beach, California. Let me tell you, I had so much fun. I met up with my friends from Rhode Island and we stayed together. There were 5 of us in an Airbnb and we just had so much fun together, catching up, going to the event, stamping together, doing some sightseeing, eating lots of food, I'll tell you. In fact, I gained 7 pounds while I was away. I ate more than I've eaten in a long, long time, you guys. But you know what? That's the fun of it, right? That's what you go on vacation for. So I'm going to use my Memento and this stamp here. And these are shoulder bars, I think. I don't know, you guys. If you know what this is called, this image, let me know. I forgot to get a foam pad, so I'm hoping that these stamp good. I'm just going to place this right here, lining them up and pressing it well. So I don't have that foam mat underneath. Should get a good, awesome. So using black and blue, I feel that that is geared more towards our police officers, right, you guys? So, you know, I have, several relatives that have been in the service. I have friends whose husbands have been in the service. I have my grandmother. I remember growing up, my grandmother worked at the police department. We go and, we couldn't do anything in town without the police officers knowing us. So I think that made us behave a little bit better. Not really, but I remember this one police officer in particular. His name was, we knew him as Big Red. I don't remember his real name because that's what we called him. Okay, so that's our bar. See how simple that was? You could line these up first and then cut. But I cut my die cuts first a lot of times. You guys know that. So anyways, we would go through town and the police officers would all say hello to us. Oh, you know what? We are going to have to cut one. We're going to have to cut our star. So that's good. Die cut our star. Now these, I just want to create a pattern here on this one, just as an element on my card. Okay, now I am going to put this here because I like it when we have our images around the edges of our cards also. We don't like an angel card, and I don't need much, just a little bit, just so we don't have that void. And I know I tell you guys that a lot, be sure to stamp off the sides of your pieces of cardstock. Okay, we're going to go ahead and stamp this. You make a difference, and I'm using the Marina Mist again. Okay, so we've got that. So we've got those stamped. We need to stamp one more star. So let me move these out of the way. Now, this is going to be a matte piece, and so we're not going to see the inside of this. So I am going to stamp this star right in the center. This is a paper saving idea, you guys. Why cut another piece when you're not going to see this whole piece? So wash our stamps off. That's real important to get those stamps clean with our chamois. So while we were on stage, I got the new catalog, you guys, and our catalogs are going to be changing. We are going to go to 3 catalogs a year. We will not be having our mini catalogs anymore. So that's a little bit different. And I think you're going to be excited with that. I think you're going to love the new catalog. The catalogs are going to be smaller. They're going to be more the size of our mini catalogs. And we will continue to have our online items. I'm trying to get my dies here, you guys. So you can continue to look for that. So we'll have those releases. None of that is changing. Okay, so we've got our mat. We've got our mat number 1, our acrylic plate. And then we place this on here. And don't forget, we stair step these when we go to put them in. So I stair step them here. Okay, we're going to line up our die. Right like that. I'm going to take my second plate, acrylic plate, put it on top, push it down, and now we're going to push this into our mini machine, and we're going to start cranking it so it starts to run through. Grab the handle and run that through. And it's just like butter, you guys. If you have issues with it, let me know. Contact me, and we can troubleshoot together. I know some of you have troubles at first, and a majority of the time it's because you don't stair step your plates. So that is an important thing to remember. Okay, so let's get these out of the way. All of our pieces. And we're all ready to assemble this card. We're going to do some stamping on the inside. So I have a piece of designer series paper, and we could use either side. I'm choosing this side. But what I'm going to do on this is I am going to grab my star stamp and I am going to stamp a few stars, not many, for the background. A lot of this is going to be covered up. So we are just going to stamp a few stars, and I want them lighter. And like I said, you're not going to see a lot of the background. So I'm just going to stamp. Let me do this one here. I like odd amounts. Odd numbers are good. So 3, 5, 7, 9, you guys. So it was so exciting seeing these new products, you guys. I've already scored my card. We're going to go ahead and fold. I don't have my bone folder. You know, I have switched sides of my table, and I need to figure out how I can get my all my stamping stuff to this side, because I do my painting on the other side. And some of you have asked me about my paintings. I am gotten kind of back into my painting. Many of you know that's how I got started years ago. I painted and did craft shows, and I went to stamping, and now I am doing some painting again. I do my painting over on TikTok. I am live every night from 6 to 9. And I have been doing lately mostly custom pieces for people. So if you want to see what I do there, you know, just look for me. I am actually wooden pickings over there. I do some stamping, and I started out stamping over there, but they all loved my painting. Oh, you know what? I forgot my dimensional. Hang on. So they loved my painting. I actually needed to paint something for a friend for a Christmas gift. And so one day I ran out of things to stamp because I'm on there for 2 to 3 hours, you guys. So, and that's a lot of time. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to paint a little bit today. And they all loved it, and they've encouraged me. And I am loving that. You know what I am going to do on this one? I'm actually going to stamp a star on this one too. I know I just cleaned my stamp, kind of creating this as I go. This one I'm going to stamp in the memento though. So we're going to stamp this right here because that's going to be peeking out. And it's kind of turned into you know, they encouraged me to do my painting. So I've been painting over there. So I have been keeping quite busy. Quite busy. Okay, I'm going to put this up this way. This is going to be like this. So that's just going to kind of tuck out from behind there. Oh, let's do this. We're going to turn this one. Let's put this one on first. So it has been quite fun. I paint shelf sitters. I paint door hangers. Right now I'm working on a bunch of customs for people. I had somebody ask me if I could paint their pups. And I said, oh, sure, I can paint a pup. And she has Scotties. And so she asked me to paint them. And I said, sure. Well, that has turned into people asking me to paint their pets. So I've been doing that. And then since then, I have been painting some custom pieces, door hangers for people. And it's like I said, it's been quite fun. Okay, so we're going to take this one, and some of them I'm going to raise with my dimensionals, but this is my flat pieces. I want this to overhang over here to fill this space a little bit. So we're going to add that there. Then let's add this one on. Yeah, so I'm on from 6 to 9 Central Time, and it's over on TikTok. Just look for Judy Stamps, not Judy Stamps, Wooden Pickins. Okay, so we have those pieces then. So now we want to add our star and add our sentiment. And I believe that our police officers and our men, people, shouldn't say men, um, do make a difference in our everyday lives. Okay, so I am just going to put this one. See, let's put this one right here. Now, this is going to overlap the star, so I only put a dimension on one side. I'm going to put adhesive here. And let's stick this here. Now, these are more masculine. If you want, I thought, you know what? I'm not going to make these all just for men because we have several women that are police officers and fire people. So for them, I'm going to add some rhinestones to make them feel a little bit more special and make the card look a little bit more feminine than masculine. But for this one, we're going to make it masculine. We've got these foam stars, which I just love. Stick that one there. Let's get a small one here. Now we don't want to stick the blue on there because it's not going to show up. Now that's our card front, guys. So on the inside, I want to put something, and I'm going to put to a real hero. How many of you feel that our police officers and our fire people are heroes? I will tell you, I do. I can appreciate them. I know how much work they put in and what they sacrifice to make sure that we're safe. And if we do happen to have a fire in our home, that they come and try to save our home. There we go. Now I do want to add a star to the inside. I'm going to do it memento though. I want it to be different than the verse. Okay, I'm going to put that there. Clean my stamps. Close up my ink pads. So a little bit more about on stage. So we went to come home, and as you guys know, the weather this last weekend has been crazy. The weather in Long Beach, we had the opposite effect there. They had heat warnings, you guys. So when we were there, they had some of the warmest weather for this time of the year. Not that I complain, believe me, I was soaking up that sun. But we went to come home and our flight was canceled. So we had a decision. Sarah, my teammate who went with me, she's a school teacher and she had a conference to attend yesterday. Well, that was actually canceled because of the weather, but she still had to get home. So we came home later. So our flight was at 3 o'clock. Yeah, 3 o'clock. And we didn't get home until 4 in the morning, you guys. So here is the inside and here is the front of this card. Isn't that, look at all the movement, and just by adding some stars to that background, it just makes that card move. So we got to enjoy the beach a little bit. We hadn't gone to the beach. We didn't have time to go to the beach. So we did a walk on the beach and it was beautiful, you guys. Just that cool breeze coming off the ocean was just heavenly. That's all I can say. And it was worth, having to spend almost over 12 hours to get home. But it was well worth it. So we, attended that. If you have purchased from me in the last 3 months, you will be getting your new catalog in the mail. If you are local, you will have to pick it up at my home. And I do mail out my long distance people. And if you haven't purchased from me, send me a message, you guys. And I am more than happy to get you a catalog also. You will have to pay a little bit for it, but I do credit you when you make your first purchase through me. So this is our card for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you consider making some cards for your local service people and handing them out. Tuck them in an envelope with a Ghirardelli or a different treat, because I know they will truly, truly enjoy it and appreciate it. So until we meet again, everybody, happy stamping.